This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer. The Patriots Prayer. All the wicks are trimmed, oil is filled to the brim. I have been changing somehow. I'm the radical now. America's falling, they all say. Gather the faithful now and pray. The Patriots Prayer.
What's going on, Patriots? Welcome back to another episode of the Patriots Prayer Podcast. You would typically be getting ready to see Elena with the Elena Barbera show right now, but she will be coming on tomorrow at noon. We hope she feels better. Guys, there's, as usual, a lot going on. And the first thing that I want to address what's going on is I want to say, we have right now 31 donations in our Give Send Go, 31 donations, and they total $1,689. And we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for every one of you that gave to help Joe save his home. We have a lot more to go, What's going on, Damon? See you, Rose Cooper. How are you? Hope everybody is well. I think that out of all the things that have bothered me with what's going on lately with the news that has came out is the one with Biden commuting the sentence of these absolute monsters. One of the guys sentenced that he commuted, the one that bothered me, I think, the most, was a guy who killed mother, daughter, and child, baby. And he chopped baby up and put them in baby jars. And damn, I can't imagine. Biden said he did this in order to ease his own conscience. Well, what the hell is on your conscience that you feel like releasing these monsters, commuting the sentence of these monsters is what you have to do to cleanse your soul? What kind of demons do you have? What kind of crimes have you committed in your life that you think this is the penance you have to pay? You have to release absolute monsters. You know what, guys? Listen, here's the thing that most people don't know about prison. And I've been there. I spent 5 years of my life there, amongst the worst of the worst. They do not separate lifers from people that are in there for small crimes. It's not like one prison for, all of these kinds of guys and one prison for all of those kinds of guys. And it's just every man for himself. It is a survival situation that a lot of people come away with some serious PTSD from. And for the longest time, I'm not afraid to admit that when I got out, I immediately sought counseling. Because some of the things that I had to do to make sure that I made it home to my family, I'm not proud of. But you're in a survival situation. There were times where we were in situations where we didn't know that we were going to be around the next day. I was in a maximum security prison out here in a place called Ely, Nevada. And they had this prison locked down for more than 20 years. And it was December of 2017 that they opened those doors for the first time. And for the first 2 weeks, all I saw was people getting stabbed and killed, and threats being made, and all sorts of things like this. For those of you who don't know how this goes down, in the ones who think prison's not bad enough, they got it easy, you guys have no clue. You guys have absolutely no clue. I'm not proud of my prison past. I'm not proud of it at all, but it made me who I am. I'm not one of those people that remain bitter. I prayed for the longest time for God to remove the bitterness from my heart for the situation surrounding why I went to begin with. And I'm here to tell you with a clear conscience that I didn't deserve what happened to me. But I guess white privilege and all of it, it must exist, right? Never got it easy, never got probation, never got parole, never got sent to a minimum or a low security facility, never any of that shit. Never, not once. It was a difficult time to be away from my family. I was 6 hours away from where my family was, so they had to go a very long way, even if they wanted to see me. And for a time while I was in there, I was housed in a unit with death row inmates in Unit 1 in Ely, Nevada. I was there because it was an interim unit where you go into intake and they're trying to figure out where to put you. So I spoke to a lot of these people. I've had face-to-face conversations with absolute killers. I've been in situations where I've had to fight absolute killers, people who would not think twice about taking anyone's life. And, when I got out of there, when I came out of that situation, I came out and I found God. And I told this story a million times, but I'll tell it again. There was one particular prisoner. His name is JR. Jimmy is my brother, and he will always be my brother. And what he did was, we were on the tier having a Bible study, believe it or not, in the middle of all this chaos that's happening around us. And he asked me, he said, "Are you going to continue to do that? Or are you going to follow Jesus? Because you know the word. You're not like these guys. So what are you going to do?" And there was a fork in the road in front of me. And I had to decide, was I just going to let my anger and the reason I was there unjustly and all that continue to guide me and push me in that direction? Or was I going to be a man and do the hard thing and the right thing? Or am I just going to be one of these fake Christians that pretend to be a Christian and say and do one thing and live another way? So I remember I went in my cell that night and I had a hard night. I didn't sleep because I knew the next day I had no option. I had to go up to some of the most absolutely you have no clue, people, and tell them, "Hey man, I can't do this anymore. My life is taking a different direction and this is how I'm going, and I'm going to follow God," whatever that means, which could have cost me my life. It could have cost me my life. All these tattoos and all these that I got on me, these are not tattoos you go to a shop to get because you paid somebody money and that sort of thing. Those tattoos are scars to me because they came from a past that reflects a person who I'm not anymore. And I love my family more than life itself. And beyond that, I love your family more than life itself. And so I had a hard road ahead of me. And I remember Trump doing a graduation ceremony for a thing called Hope for Prisoners. And I'm sitting there and I'm in front of this little TV. We had these little 13-inch clearback TVs they'd sell us, and they'd charge us like exorbitant amounts of money for these little TVs. They should be ashamed. But I remember he did. It was on the news here out in Nevada, and it was a program called Hope for Prisoners, and it was ran by a man named John Ponder. John Ponder, you'll remember, is the guy that was pardoned by Trump at the end of his last term. Him and Angela Stenick got on stage together, as a matter of fact, and Trump pardoned the two of them, gave them their pardon papers. Well, this past July, John Ponder was up on the mountain with us at a men's retreat that I go to every year, and John Ponder baptized me. And I finished that program, and I tell you what, you know, there was nothing that happened. It was all God inspired, because I remember I had my Bible and I would write, and it had a little part in the back of I still have it. It's the same Bible I use to this day when I read. It's got my inmate number on it, 11571. And I wrote in the back of that book, and I said, I'm going to get out, and I'm going to go do this program. I'm going to start pushing for all the right things. I'm going to fight to fix my country. I want to do all of these things. I mean, they were grandiose. They were humongous things. And you think to yourself, you know, how in the hell am I going to accomplish this? I don't have a job. All right. By that time, I done lost my family. My wife and I went separate ways. And I had no idea what I was going to do. Matter of fact, when I got off of that bus and they took the cuffs and the shackles off of me, and I'm sitting there and I'm holding a clear bag. Here, I keep it really close by. I keep that bag really close by just to remind me. This is all I had in the entire world when I got out of prison. What's in this clear bag you see? And I saved every card, every court docket, every paper, every drawing, everything that I had, because this was my only connection to anything. This was it. I didn't know whether to walk right, left, or go straight, because it didn't matter. I didn't have anywhere to go. I had no family to call on. I had nothing. But I called John up, and John, you know, just received his pardon and all that. But this guy answers his phone. And I remember having that hard conversation with him. I was like, John, here's my situation. And I don't have anything. I have nowhere to go. I have no job. I have nothing. And he said, well, can you get down to the program, right? Can you get down to the spot where we're at? And I said, I don't have a car. The money I did have, the prison took, because I owed money, because I got into a fight, and I owed medical expenses for getting into a fight, and the other individual had to get some medical help. And in prison, when you do that, you end up with the tab, whatever that tab is, that's your tab. And so I got out. When I got out of prison, they took every bit of money that I had, didn't even leave me bus fare. So I told them, I said, I don't. And they picked me up. They picked me up and they took me down to this program. By this time, I was into the program about 2 days, something like that, going through their normal course of, you know, acclimating you to coming home and counseling and getting you a job and all of the necessary things to, you know, keep you from reoffending and that sort of thing. Well, there was no question that I had no idea, but I had this thing that I wrote in the back of my Bible, and I said to myself, this is what God put on my heart. This is what I'm going to do. So I kept looking for every open door. And I remember when Trump was talking in that particular news conference he had, and it was all over the local news here. It was national news, if I'm not mistaken. I couldn't tell you because I was in prison at the time, but I would assume it was national news. And it definitely was national news when he pardoned John. And so they came pick me up. I'm into this program a few days, and I remember Trump had mentioned the name of a company that I had absolutely tried my hardest to get a job at before. And it's crazy because I I didn't deserve it. As a matter of fact, I didn't deserve much of anything at that time. I had nothing going for me outside of the skills that I knew I had to be able to do the job that I was applying for. But why in the world would anyone give me a chance after what I just been through, after what they maybe thought they knew about who I was? Why would someone give me a chance? But it was in COVID time still. So they had these things called virtual job fairs, and they gave us a list of like 60 employers. And out of those 60 employers, I chose the one that I wanted to work for. And that one I wanted to work for, they said, well, they're hiring for laborers. And they said to me, are you going to be a laborer? And I said, absolutely not. That's not what I do. And they said, well, what do you do? And I explained to them about what I do as a project manager for, general contractors and that sort of thing. And I play a special, role in that whole situation. I don't want to get into that side of it, but it is complicated. I tried to explain it. They looked at me kind of confused, and they said, okay, well, you just want the one? And they're like, well, we need you to choose 10. And I said, I don't need 10. I just need the one. And I remember it's kind of funny because they just looked at me like I was crazy, because they said, well, how much are you going to ask for a salary for this particular one? And I gave them a low 6-figure number, and they laughed. And I remember going and sitting in that job interview, and these people, they were just befuddled. 5 minutes later, I came back and I said, well, they hired me. And they said, what? For an executive position, they hired you directly out of prison? Yeah. And they gave me more than what I asked for. They didn't know how to react to that. And the other night, for my years of service, they gave me, I don't know if you can see that, right? But they gave me a gold pendant. And you get these after 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, and then every 5. But this is my first one. My first one is my gold pendant. I wear it on my lapel. And the guy who runs it, he's an amazing man. He's an amazing man. I have a great boss, and it's me and him right there at our company Christmas party. And here is me and the owner of that company right there together. And I came into that situation knowing that I damn well didn't deserve it, and I lit a fire under their ass, because I went and I took to this job, and I worked weekends, I worked after hours, I did everything that I possibly could to get the department that I'm in up to snuff. And I did. And I still do to this day. I take what I do very seriously, and as seriously as I do the podcast. So as soon as I was able to, beyond that time, I started the podcast. And I knew I wanted it to be bigger than what it was. I knew that there was a mission there, and I didn't know where God was leading me with it. And so I crossed paths with Maurice. And Maurice has been such a huge, help to me personally as a friend and to the network. And we started this thing called PPN. And it has grown ever since, with Elena, with Damon Galdo, with 2 guys, 1 coup, Jim and Dale, just a family. Alexandra, Nate Kane, who is the Uranium One whistleblower, him. Just a very patriotic bunch of people who really actually care about our neighbors and care about our country and care about what it is we're doing here. We don't just come on. Look, most people wouldn't even tell you the things that that I'm telling you, but I'm 100% honest with who I am and who I was. And so I don't want anyone, coming back later. Oh, look, this guy's a felon. He's this, he's that. I told you. You don't have to worry. You don't have to dig too deep to find dirt on me. I'm not hiding it. It's not who I am, though, and it doesn't define me. And that's the truth. And, that's why when people like Joe reach out and they say, man, I need your help. Yeah, you guys have a reputation for helping people. And such as we did with Holden Armenta when we sent him to the Super Bowl. We raised $13,000 for that young man. And it was one of the most fulfilling things in my life. And I knew at that moment when we did that and we celebrated that victory, that wasn't the last. It wasn't the last. So we keep our eye out all the time for people that we can help that are in need, but that also will maintain the integrity of who we are as a network and as a show. Joe put out this message. Take a listen.
Hey, to all you Patriots, Trump supporters, everybody trying to help me and my family, we really thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. And you guys have a Merry Christmas. And God bless everybody. God bless America. And we really do thank you. And we thank you, PPN, too. They're awesome. Merry Christmas, everybody.
So, that just touches my heart to even hear him say that, because Joe has been through a lot. And let me take you through this story. He puts a 52-foot trailer on his front lawn and he paints Trump, Make America Great Again, on the side of the trailer. And it wasn't long before he started getting a lot of attention for it. A lot of people in the Trump administration, even the press secretary and him were communicating, and they knew about his situation. They were trying to illegally fine him, and it's all in the court papers. If you just Google Pittsville versus McCoy, you can find it, or McCoy versus Pittsville, whichever way it's listed. I'm not sure. You can see exactly what happened. There's very easy if you actually look and you want to know. And so he was talking to Corey Lewandowski. He was talking to Caroline Levitt, talking to all these people about his situation. And he had a lawyer. The lawyer was, from my understanding, one of Ron DeSantis's buddies. And that lawyer was disbarred during the course of this trial, in which they switched venues from New Hampshire to Massachusetts. And they told Joe, well, you're without a lawyer, so you have 90 days in which to find a lawyer to continue to fight this case. And Joe did everything he could. He was a man of little means. He's retired. He's an amputee. He's got one leg. So all the lawyers that he had, that he's contacted, and 30,000, 40,000 retainer, this stuff like this. He can't afford that. He drained his 401k, he drained his life savings fighting these people, trying to sue them for what they did to him and forcing his trailer off his property. And one of the people on the board who told him he had to move the trailer off the property because he didn't have a permit for the trailer. They really weren't going after the trailer. They were going after the sign on the trailer because he'd featured in all sorts of newspapers and so forth. And they just didn't like the attention that Trump was getting as a result. And Joe was in the paper. He was in the Monitor. And so, we were doing our best here to try to get the word out as to what's going on. It's not a complicated situation. He had a sign on his front yard. His First Amendment rights, were violated by the town, who said they had to remove it because it was a political sign, in which the First Amendment, there is no such law that says you have to remove a political sign from your front yard because the town doesn't like the political figure in which you're supporting. That was the case he was fighting. It is not hard to understand. And so during the course of this, he ended up, they came to take the trailer. One of the board members that were, a part of this, taking place, forcing a trailer off his property, lives approximately a half a mile from Joe. And he has multiple trailers on his property. And as a matter of fact, here, I'm gonna show you. I'm going to show you the video of Joe going on that same exact piece of property and going in there and exposing the fact that the board member who forced the trailer off of his property because he said he didn't have the permit to have it there, has several trailers on his property for which he has no permit for. And he hid Joe's trailer in the back of his existing property, less than a half a mile away from Joe's home. And let's see, I post so much that it's hard to find some of these things sometimes, but give me a second and I will definitely find it. Joe went down on this guy's property. And he went on the property. This guy's got some brass ones, boy, I tell you what. And he went on the property. And when he went on the property, I think this is it right here. Yeah, it's coming up here, right here, I think. Yeah, right here. So I'm going to show you this video, guys. You got to check this out. He's crazy for this one, but he goes on the property and you'll hear exactly what happens when he goes on the property and what he actually said. You got it. This guy I love him. I just spoke to him on the phone before we went live, and he was nowhere near a computer because I was going to have him on. But here you go. Here's Joe on the property. A whistleblower called and gave him the address to where his trailer was and where it was being illegally stored because the individual who had it also didn't have a permit to have it there. So here it is.
My name's Joe McCoy. I had the biggest Trump sign in New Hampshire, Pittsfield, New Hampshire, forced off my property due to complaints by the select board. Their complaint said, we don't know who signed it, didn't see it, and they don't know where it came from, but they used that to legally force my Trump sign off my property. Now, I'm at 16 Carroll Street, 1/2 mile from my house. Whistleblower told me my trailer's down here. So if it's down here, then that means the town forced it off my property and it's down here on this guy's property. Who none of these trailers, no permits, they were okay. But Trump wasn't okay during his election. It's got a keep out sign, but I'm going in anyway.
That's that part where.
Yep, see? 16 Clark Street, H.A. Marston Incorporated. All right, Trump trailer, where you at? They told me it was forced off my property. And all these trailers are okay to be here with no permit. Buying out the rural area, not allowed. This is unreal. A lot of trailers down here. None of them got permits. I had a permit for my Trump trailer. Wow. Look at it. There it is. My son Brian Bales painted that. That's the front of my Trump trailer. And there's, look at all them trailers, huh? Sorry about the vibration, folks, in the camera. I just got a metal leg. Yep, that's my son's. This was my trailer, and it's a half a mile down past my house.
So, as you can see, Joe's fearless. Joe went on the property, took a video, showed you where the trailer was. This guy also had no permit, none at all. So, you know, the town was, you know, they illegally forced the trailer off his property when and here's the crazy part. They did it with a complaint that they said didn't exist when Joe took them to court. The complaint didn't exist. When they asked him to produce the complaint, there was no complaint. Yet, without an actual complaint, they still showed up and took the trailer off his property because they said he had no permit. Well, Joe did have a permit. And he showed the permit. And it's, if you just go to Joe McCoy's Facebook page, Joe McCoy is a little dog icon there. He's got a couple of dogs. He's got his dog as an icon on his Facebook page. Go check out his Facebook page. You'll see everything that I'm talking to you about and more. And so he's doing all this to prove a point. But here's the thing, guys. And here's what kills me about all of this. The guy who killed the insurance CEO, the United Health CEO, he had $400,000 in his Gibson Go. $400,000 for his defense. No, like, you can't flip his phone around. He didn't realize it was flipped that way. But the point being, the trailer was there on the other guy's property, Sovereign, and shouldn't have been. And it was not permitted to be there. It wasn't. They shouldn't have taken it off his property. It was forced off his property because it had Trump painted on the side of the trailer, real big. Now, the Trump team knows. Some of the Trump team actually know about this, actually. And he was, and they reached out, and they reached out to help, and sent several messages to them. I have messages. Here, I'm gonna show you some video, some pictures, some screenshots. So that's Corey Lewandowski right there. Wow, now I remember. Don't be angry, because they forgot about the guy. You know, they're out there taking pictures with him, getting in the newspaper because he had a ton of press at the time, and this was when the election was going on. So they were going out there getting photo ops, and you know, as you can see, he refers to him as a hero and all that. So these guys know his story. They know his story. That's Joe right there. Just after his operation, he lost his leg. Right? There's the newspaper article in 2020 where you can see the story written right there in the monitor. Nothing hidden behind the scenes, nothing crazy that anyone doesn't know about the case that, you know, should make you feel any way at all about supporting the issue. Because not only did Corey Lewandowski support the issue, but Susie Wiles also supported the issue. And Susie Wiles was going back and forth with him. And let's see who else. Oh, Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary for Trump, was involved and knew what was going on. She wanted to make sure the story got in front of Trump, because she believed that if Trump found out about this, they would do something about it. Well, the story never made it in front of Trump. We're trying to get it in front of Trump right now. We're working with people on his inauguration team to try to get this story in front of him. I can get the story to the president for you, and I will share it on my page as well. This is all written from Caroline Leavitt, as you can see right here. There's the picture of the Trump USA trailer. right there with him in front of it. This is the one they used in the newspaper article. It's absolutely crazy to me that this man has been put through so much hell for no reason. For no reason at all. And where everyone else backs up and doesn't want to step up, we'll step in the gap. We'll stand in the gap. As godly people, as people who actually stand with our community of MAGA patriots, we will. We absolutely will every time. As long as I can verify the facts and I can make sure that, you know, what you're saying is true and there's nothing hidden or whatever about it. And believe me, I did the legwork on this. And not only is he telling the truth, but you can see several text messages. Michael Watley, Susan Wiles, Caroline Levine, as well as Corey Lewandowski, a lot of the figures that surround Trump. They all know about it. They were texting him about it. They were promising to help do things for him and getting the story in front of Trump. Well, guys, Trump knowing about it is one thing, and it definitely would probably help. We're going to be at CPAC, and we're going to take every opportunity to make sure that every senator, congressman, and the like that cross our path know about this. Because it's an injustice that should never, ever, ever happen to anyone. And I would hope that if any one of you were in the same situation, I would be doing this for you. Believe it or not, I would be doing this for you. Because that's what we're supposed to be. But earlier what I was saying is that when the Give and Go was set up for Luigi Mangione, when the donations were being given to BLM, they totaled into millions very quickly. But when it comes to a man who's on a fixed income, who supported his presidential candidate, we have a hard time raising money, and it confuses the hell out of me. I was talking to Maurice about this earlier. It absolutely confuses me. I've given quite a bit to the Give and Go. Some folks that I work with, many of you have given, but all it takes is $5 or $10. We have 3,700 people watching right now. $5 to $10. Not even that. With the amount of people we have, it would literally take like a little less than $2 per to hit our goal and make sure this man stays in his home. It takes nothing. givesandgo.com/Save Joe. Go right there and give, and Joe will be able to stay in his home. He'll be able to pay his back property tax that he owes because he's been fighting this case and trying to sue the county for violating his First Amendment rights. He's on a fixed income. It could be your grandfather. It could be my grandfather. He worked his whole life for a home that he bought and figured he'd be okay. He never in a million years envisioned that this would be happening. And I feel extremely sorry for him. And we are going to continue to fight to make sure Joe stays in his home. So if you would, please, guys, please reach into your hearts and into your pockets and give whatever it is you can give. I know times are hard. Bidenflation is tough. It's crazy, how much things have gone up and how much less expendable money that each of us has as a result. But anywhere between $3 and $5 a piece would do it right now. For as many people as watching right now would do it. It would actually put us over our goal. So, guys, if you can give, please do. Now, on to some other things. Because, like I said, there is a lot going on. And, this story that I'm getting ready to get into, it goes to show you there is something wrong with our culture. Something is definitely wrong with our culture. I'm going to play the clip and then we'll talk about it after, but you have to see this. I couldn't believe this.
Deputies have arrested 22-year-old Brianna Alvelo and booked her into the county jail. They say she and a man broke into the Riviera Motel in Kissimmee this past Sunday and attacked a person in one of the rooms, all because Alvelo didn't get a big enough pizza delivery tip. Deputies say they found a victim with several stab wounds.
She didn't get a big enough pizza delivery trip. Silver Bell, how are you? So glad to see you. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute, but yeah, it's right there on the screen. GiveSingo.com/Save Joe. Right there in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. If you want to give, that's where you do it. Every little bit helps at this point. Every little bit helps. But as you've seen in that clip, lady in a hotel orders a pizza. Pizza shows up. The lady gives a $2 tip, which is, come on. I mean, really, somebody's running out to get your food for you. It's a convenience, and you tip them $2. But the thing is that this person thought that warranted her taking time out of her day to go back and sneak into this person's room and stab them several times. What in the hell is wrong with people? What's wrong with our culture where this is okay? This is what they believe is okay. There is something wrong with the heart and the soul of this country right now. We have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten what we are. We're a country of morals. We're a country that stands for our God. We're a country of patriots. And to see someone almost lose their life, in this case, I'm not sure, but I think the woman did pass away because she was stabbed several times because she didn't leave a big enough tip. Can you imagine not leaving a big enough tip and it costs you your life? I have friends that do the whole Uber Eats thing and, on the side, but they call a side hustle. And they do tell me a lot of times they go out to restaurants and pick up expensive dinners and they take them to someone's home. And they don't get a big enough tip. They don't get a tip at all in some cases. Do any one of them go back to the home and do something absolutely just come on? This is appalling that someone would do this. Who in their right mind would do that? I guess that's it. They're not in their right mind. I don't know where they're from. And Silver Bell, I will DM it to you. I will definitely DM it to you. If you're on my X page right now, I'll put it in the comments of my X page. And I don't know if you're watching from Maurice's page or from my page, but I'll put it in the DM. Oh, you must be over on Maurice's page. I don't know why Maurice's page doesn't show up on the streaming site anymore. I gotta find out about that. It's nuts that it doesn't. But here it is. I'm typing it in there for you right now. There you go. There it is. She should be able to see it now. But the thing is that this must be the culture of wherever she comes from, wherever, she originates from. She's obviously South American. And, this is okay. I don't know what these people think are going to happen. I mean, there is, and I believe this with all my heart, there's a demonic force that is permeating the culture right now. And that's why these things are happening. That's why we see the things that are happening the false compassion for immigrants coming into our country has caused these types of things to take place. That or people like this, for instance. This is something Maurice posted on his page earlier.
Starting reception in September, he has picked his own school bag.
I told you not to get the pink bag.
It's what he wants to have.
I don't care what he wants to have. You should have gotten the football bag like I told you.
It's his first day of school. It's his choice of backpack.
He's going to get bullied.
He's not going to get bullied. He's 4 years old.
You know how mean 4-year-old people are these days, right? He's going to get bullied. And you know what? You're going to have to deal with it. I told you not to get that bag for him.
He can have whatever he wants. We need to encourage him.
No,
to be
he can have the
himself.
football bag. That's what I'm going to get him. You need to take that back and we'll get the football bag for him.
He's picked this bag. He's going to have this bag. He's his own person.
He's 4 years old. He doesn't know what he wants. He's having the football bag.
He's 4 years old. The mom wants to give him the pink bag, the feminine bag for her little 4-year-old boy. So, parents. I think we've forgotten we are the parents. We're supposed to guide the kids and show them what's right, what's wrong. If you're raising a little boy, how to be a man. If you're raising a little girl, how to be a lady. Why in the hell don't we realize that? Why are parents saying, I will let the kid choose? And then our society is out there dictating what's trendy, so the kids are going to go with the flow. You know who interrupts that flow? You do. You are the parent. You are responsible for teaching and guiding. It's not the other way around. The kid is not responsible for teaching and guiding you. The Bible says, raise a child up in the way it should go, and when he is older, he will not depart from that way. So it's up to you as parents to do what is right and show the kid what is right. But I'm sure that this kind of conversation, and I believe that conversation was staged for the purpose of bringing this conversation into the public sphere, but I believe that that conversation happens all the time. All the time. And we got to realize, people, that we cannot have a country where we believe that masculinity is toxic and still think we're going to have men to defend our country. We're going to have guys that'll change the light bulb on the top of the Empire State Building, or on top of the bridge out in San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge, or that are willing to go and take a bullet for your freedom and my freedom, or willing to shoot a bullet at someone for your freedom or my freedom. There are a reason that men are men and women are women, and there are roles and there are places in society for everyone. One is not superior to the other. They're just different. The lie in feminism today is that one is superior than the other and one is trying to hold the other back. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you don't have a family with a mother and a father and a child and everybody playing their position they're supposed to play, you're going to weaken the family. And when the family goes, so does the country. Because you cannot have a strong country in a weak family. Show me a family with a nurturing, loving mother with a great moral compass who teaches and raises and nurtures her kids, and a father who busts his hump every day to make sure that that lady has a home and those kids and his wife are protected and that home is taken care of. And I'll show you a strong family. You break that dynamic down and you make it to where that dynamic doesn't exist and the family structure is dissolved, it's destroyed. And then what you have is what you have today. Dysfunctional families. And they're common. They're more common than functional families. Much more common. Kids today will unplug your oxygen machine just to charge their cell phone. It's sad, but it's true. The opposite of love is selfishness. When a kid says, it's my life and I'll do what I want to do with my life, what they're essentially saying is, I do not care about my family legacy. I don't care about the heritage. I don't care about my namesake. I don't care about my ancestry or anything to do with my family. I'm going my own way. And when you have that kind of dynamic in a family, when you have that kind of attitude toward your family, you don't have a family. And for some reason, parents today want to be their child's friend instead of their parent. Well, guys, we got to start being parents. And that may mean at times your kid's going to hate your guts. Trust me. They'll love you for it later, but they're going to hate you now because you have to make sure that you play the role of a parent. It's very essential. It's very essential. I mean, we grew up rough, and we knew mom had a stern hand, but dad even had a more stern hand, and you didn't want to piss either one of them off. Today, your kids will call and report you so fast. It's not even funny for disciplining them. It's crazy. We don't have the family dynamic we used to have in this country of what we were known for, and our enemies outside of this country know that. They know that from the start. And they know if they can break the family down, the country will fall with it. So there's that. Now, I got another clip for you. We're going to look at another one.
Fool you. This is epic. This is monumental. If things are going in the direction we think, Fani Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her. She will be disqualified. If they had a relationship prior to when they represented to the court, it's a huge deal. I can't overstate it.
And do you feel the same way, Charles, based on the testimony of what we just heard? And we just learned Nathan Wade, who is the special prosecutor in this case, walked in the courtroom. He is being sworn in to testify now about this issue and his relationship with Fani Willis. Let's listen.
You remember when that took place? Well, now justice has finally been served. Fani Willis has been disqualified from the Trump case, which should have been, it should have happened a long time ago. Should have happened a very long time ago. And now, now that she lied under oath and said that she was not communicating with the Biden administration, and it turned out she was, she should be disbarred. She should never be able to practice law again. And as to whether or not she had a relationship with that man, which was what that trial was about, if you remember when Fani Willis's daughter got pulled over, I was drunk driving or something, I think. Who showed up in the car on the body cam footage? You can see it was Wade and Fani together. After hours, they drove together to the scene to go talk to the police. So now she's disbarred. Disqualified from the Trump case. But she should be disbarred. She should not be able to practice law anymore. And Letitia James, your day is coming. Your day is coming. You deserve everything that you have coming at you, and then some. And then some. Because to go after Trump prior to him getting elected, saying that you knew that you were going to go after him, you ran on a policy of getting him before ever being elected, you knew what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. We'll be right back after this break.
Introducing the Trump token, America's cryptocurrency, a digital revolution to make America great again. Built on the high-performance Solana blockchain, the Trump token merges the economic principles of Bitcoin with the speed, scalability, and efficiency of modern technology. Designed to empower politically engaged communities, the Trump token taps into three major demand ecosystems: the Trump community, global cryptocurrency enthusiasts, and the internationally recognized Trump brand. In a world of financial uncertainty, the Trump token stands as a scarce and durable digital asset, positioned for growth within a rapidly expanding global market. Powered by Solana, the Trump token offers lightning-fast transactions, unparalleled scalability, and robust security, making it the ideal currency for both everyday use and political engagement. With a total supply capped at 21 million Trump tokens, 10 million are available for pre-sale at just $10 per token. In a powerful show of support, 50% of all pre-sale proceeds will be donated to Donald J. Trump's 2024 presidential campaign via super PACs. That's right, up to $50 million of crypto in kind will be donated to ensure Trump wins. On top of the donation, 40% free additional Trump tokens will be distributed over 36 months to all pre-sale participants who hold. Check out our official white paper for more. Driven by a decentralized governance model, The Trump token empowers its community to shape its future, ensuring the token remains aligned with the values of its supporters. Together, let's make America great again. Go to thetrumptoken.com to get involved. The Trump token. Own America's cryptocurrency now.
Love those guys. They have helped us so much. And during the course of the Trump campaign, they kept their promise and donated to the Trump campaign, just like they said. And Yar and the rest of the guys over on the Trump token team, we absolutely appreciate you more than you know. Beyond that, though, guys, yeah, I mean, we have our enemies surrounding this country, and they are gearing up for war. While we were disarming and, you know, basically running around the world on some apology tour, China was ramping up their nuclear arsenal. I think they have now 3 times the amount of the nuclear arsenal they had 4 years ago. 3 times. 3 times. They have they're not making any secret about their ambition to go into Taiwan. Here's a little clip about it. Here you go.
What are all these nuclear weapons for? And they haven't answered that question.
Why are they doing this? Well, Beijing's move comes as also as deepening ties with Russia while increasing pressure on Taiwan. Gordon Chang is here, Gatestone Institute, senior fellow, author of the book, China is Going to War. Gordon, always good to see you. Do you think it is just that? Do you think that China is preparing to go to war, potentially over Taiwan or even perhaps with us?
Well, certainly, because we've seen all the preparations for it. Xi Jinping can't stop talking about going to war. He's also engaged in the fastest and the largest military buildup since the end of the Second World War. He's stockpiling grain and other commodities. He is trying to sanction-proof his regime. He's firing military officers who are opposed to going to war. He's mobilizing civilians, and he's surveying the U.S. for nuclear weapons strikes. We see all these Chinese incursions and attempted incursions into our military bases, especially in September when a Chinese national twice tried to sneak on to a U.S. nuclear weapons base in the lower 48 states. So it's clear what they want to do. Whether they will actually do it or not is a different question, but they're making preparations to kill Americans.
To kill Americans. Are we prepared for this?
No, we're not. The President of the United States, the one with the constitutional duty to protect Americans from foreign attacks, his number one constitutional duty. He doesn't talk to the American people about this. His budgets don't reflect priorities of getting us ready to go to war. And unfortunately, we have American people who think they're at peace. But yeah, we're at peace right now, but could be on the edge of conflict.
How will President-elect Trump differ than the current policy?
I don't know. We're going to find out. I think that we're going to see more money for the military. We're going to also see an emphasis on war-fighting capacity, as opposed to, for instance, DEI and other things that the Pentagon has been pushing. But we will see how he looks at this. And his first budget is going to tell us quite a lot about it.
If you were to advise President Trump, I mean, what would you say? What would you say to him in terms of what type of policies the U.S. should follow in order to try and blunt Beijing?
First thing is he needs to talk to the American people. He needs to talk to the American people about how dangerous the situation is. That's not really his style. But the other thing that I think he needs to do is to say to China, look, we will defend Taiwan. And if we do that, China will not attack because it doesn't want the casualties, even if they think that they can take the place. But again, that's not President Trump's style. And when asked the question during the campaign, he said, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do with regard to Taiwan. So these are questions which remain to be answered. The one good thing is that I think he will speed up arms sales to Taiwan, and that'll be a message to Beijing. But whether that's sufficient, I'm not sure.
And finally, what do you predict? I mean, how do we go down this road? And at what point does it become untenable? And what point is there a potential clash, if there ever is one?
The problem is the world's falling apart. We've got all of these wars around the world. China's involved in 3 proxy wars right now: Ukraine, North Africa, and the Middle East, and is threatening to go to war. One thing we know, Xi Jinping may not have made the decision to go to war yet, but he's made the decision to risk war. He's made the decision to risk war with a U.S. treaty ally, which means he's already made the decision that he's prepared to attack the United States. So we have got to get that message across to the American public, and especially to the Pentagon, which thinks it's at peacetime. There's no sense of urgency that is really necessary to meet the Chinese challenge right now.
So we've had him on the show before. I'm back when we were just the Patriots Prayer. I've had him on the show more than once. And he's very, very, very knowledgeable when it comes to China and the communist agenda. And he's not lying. We think we're at war. We're at peacetime. We think that these guys aren't going to do it. You know, we've gotten very lackadaisical, and this is why we call Joe Beijing Biden, because listen, he let 3 Chinese spy balloons traverse the entirety of the country. There are drones flying all over the place on the East Coast. Some say they're sniffer drones trying to look for a nuclear weapon. There are clearly things that way they term as UAPs. We've seen them on the news. Channel 7 News displayed them live on TV. They weren't drones. They were, God knows what they were. They looked like orbs or something that were just up there and very high up, and they're just going all over New Jersey, New York area, and even down into Maryland. People say they've also been popping up in other parts of the country. And there's no doubt that we have a president right now who is not only have a weakened mental capacity, but a weakened capacity for dealing with actually strong leaders from other countries. Do you really think Joe is going to hold his own against the conversation with Xi Jinping? Because I don't. I'm actually wondering right now. Here's my question, right? So Joe just pardons or commutes the sentences of all these absolute monsters, right? But when Special Counsel Robert Hur did that that sit down with him and deposition, he said that the president wasn't of the kind of mind, competent enough to be able to stand trial. So there's no reason for us to take him to court because he's not competent enough to go through a trial. So if he's non-compass, whatever, right? If the guy's just not in his right mind, then if you or I are not in our right mind and we sign any legally binding contract, it's not legally binding because we're not in the right state of mind to be able to sign the contract. Well, if that's the case, then is it legal that Joe commuted the sentences of all these people? Was it legal when he signed the budget? Is it legal when he signed any of these documents? Why hasn't the 25th Amendment been enacted against this guy if he's not mentally competent to go through a trial? Why is he still running the country? Why? My question is why. And I personally don't think that he has the mental capacity to run the country, and I damn sure don't think that he has or should have the right to commute the sentences of killers that took just brazenly taken the life of innocent people, whole families in some cases. A judge in one case that was sex trafficking minors. And he commuted these sentences to ease his conscience, he said. I really want to know what's on his conscience that needs the kind of easing that would, allow him to think that he's easing his conscience by commuting the sentences of these monsters. Who does that? Who in their right mind would do that? This guy is an absolute career criminal. His family is despicable. The things that are in that Marco Polo book, which are the contents of that laptop and then some, should just absolutely disqualify him from holding office. The pictures of him and his niece, the conversations between Jim Biden and Hunter Biden talking about his dementia prior to him even taking office. And many, many more things. Just as like today in the news, you saw pictures of Joe Biden with the business partners of Hunter Biden, and the fact that Hunter flew on Air Force Two, or a $250,000 wire transfer was sent from China to Joe's address last year. And he said it was for investments. Well, Hunter already testified they made no money from their investments overseas. So they lied under oath. And he's been bowing down to the powers that be. And we're supposed to have a country. We're supposed to have a president that cares about the people in the country. He cares more about immigrants than he does about his own people. And that's a fact. That is a fact. That is not me saying that. There's absolute evidence, empirical evidence to the fact that this man does not give a damn about you, me, or anyone else. Guys, I'm going to sign off from here, and hopefully we see you on again on Sunday. We're going to be on at 11 o'clock. I'm going to be on at 6 p.m. with the Woke Detox at 11 a.m. on Sunday with the Patriots Prayer Podcast. I may go live again tomorrow just to continue to push this issue to help Joe keep his home. So, guys, if you cannot give, just share. Go to @thePatriotsPray. It's right there. Share it out. GiveSingo.com/Save Joe. Let's save this man's home. Let's come together as a community of patriots and actually help one another. That's what this is about. Patriots helping patriots. That's what we do. It's what we should do. So, guys, as usual, the silent majority, you need to stop being silent and stand your ground. We'll see you next time on the Patriots Prayer.
This is the Patriots Prayer Podcast. It's a tremendous show, one of the greatest shows in the history of the world.
This is Bryson Gray, and you are watching the Patriots Prayer.
Soon on the Patriots Prayer Network. Thank you all.
America's falling, they all say, gather the faith.